I am alive. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody? Oh, looks like you can hear me okay. That's good news. I've got the microphone going and headphones on for the phone, the microphone for those of you who are with us on YouTube this morning. I greet you in the name that is above every name. Just going to ask you to remember to share. And I want to make sure that you can hear me okay. So if on YouTube you can hear me, let me have a thumbs up. Show some sign. If you're not showing a sign, then I'm going to think that you can't hear me. Hello. Go ahead, wave back. Want to make sure that everything's connected because, once I start talking, I don't really have the ability to recollect. Go back. I won't back. Isn't that the thing? I won't go back. No turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. Good morning. Those of you, please let me know that you can hear me okay. Okay, there's no sign. No sign of life there. Okay. All right. All right. There we go. Thank you. All right. Well, this is a special day. Does anybody know why? You say, is this a trick question? Not really. It's a special day because we're here. And that's the bottom line. It's a special day because we are here. Um, you still have an assignment, and that assignment, good morning, is worship. The assignment is worship. We are in day number 236, 236 days. It seems like just yesterday, I believe it was Trina who said, I'm looking forward to day 100. Well, that was 136, 137 days ago. We were just trying to make 100. Didn't realize that 236 was going to seem like just the next day. When you're looking back, it's like you can go so far back and connect to the past with no problem. We can connect to yesterday so quickly, like so clearly. How far can you go back? But when we look into the future, it seems so distant. How is that? In Psalm 138, verse 8, the Lord says, I'm perfecting those things concerning you. I know he talks about a little bit more, but that's what really stands out to me. That I'm perfecting the things concerning you. It's this constant reminder to me. I got you. You can keep going. Don't worry about anything. I got it. I'll take care of that for you. You can keep going. I think part of our issue is that we are we're really at heart we're micromanagers, and that we like to be involved or participate in the process and the progress and the provision. We just want to be there for all of it. There's nothing worse than giving someone an assignment, or somebody gives you an assignment. You're at work and then they keep breathing on the back of your neck, and they're participating in the work. Like, if you have the time to do it yourself, then what am I doing? How many times, or how many of you have ever been micromanaged, and while you're actually doing the work, the person you guys are is right there doing the work with you, when you're supposed to be doing this on your own, but they and then you just stop. Have you ever just stopped and just step back? Like, hey, if you can do it yourself, then what am I doing here? This is a waste of my time. This is a waste of my energy, my strength. I can focus I can focus my efforts on something else. This isn't this isn't one of those things that a job that we're going to do together. I didn't come here to work with you on this project. I came here to take care of the project for you. Now, true, we are in cooperation, with God in that because he's everywhere at the same time, we can never get away from him. We walk away from our assignments, but how do you walk away from God? To say that I'm walking away from God is to say, is imagine this, and this is what I'm saying, is that I'm walking from, if I was going to walk from California to New York, no matter which direction I walk in, I'm still on the earth. The earth is much bigger than I am. No matter if I walk north, south, east, or west, if I go to the right, to the left, if I'm climbing the mountains or walking through a valley, if I'm swimming in the ocean or even walking on water or the bottom of the sea. So no matter where I am, I'm still connected to the earth. So no matter where I am, God is always there. So I'm not going to walk away from God. I can walk away from what he told me to do. I can walk away from where I live and walk away from my family, but I cannot walk away from God. Where can I go from your presence? The psalmist says, I can't go anywhere. Even if we're to take wings and fly to the uttermost parts of the earth, he says, you're there. If I were to descend, if I were to make my bed in hell, even there, your right hand, your right arm, it means me. If I cover my head, my feet are exposed. If I cover my head is exposed. He says, where can I go? I can't even cover myself in darkness because darkness and light are all the same to you. It doesn't change anything as far as what you see or where you are. He's talking to the Lord. So you're not going to walk away from God. You're living for him. Or maybe you don't even know who he is altogether, but you can't get away from the presence of God because he is everywhere at the same time. So I can tell you now that uh, Elohim, God, our Father, Yahweh, Jehovah, Jehovah, he's not a micromanager. He's not. Um, Ruach, or the Holy Spirit, is not a micromanager. If he's going to tell, if you have an assignment, Jerome, do this. He's not going to micromanage me. I'm going to do it. So, but when you turn the tables, let's turn the tables right there. We are at heart, we are the micromanagers. We micromanage God. We micromanage the Holy Spirit. Yeah, we do that to him. Okay, what is it that you've been praying about? What did you pray about? Yeah, what is it? What have you prayed about? Have you prayed about something and then you can really just leave it alone? Can you do that, or do you have to participate in what God is doing? You tell me. Do you have to participate in the thing that God is doing? Um, that's micromanagement. We micromanage God. What is prayer? In Luke 18:1, Jesus says that man ought to always pray and not faint. Pray and don't give up. Then he talks about the unjust uh, king, or judge, some might say. Um, with this woman who has this issue, she's been treated badly, and she goes to the king and she's knocking on the door, and he won't see her, and she's just persistent. She won't give up, and and finally it gets on the king's nerves to the point where he tells the folks, he says, listen, will you go and take care of this woman because she is worrying me. Yeah, I'm not going to let you worry me today. The only way that I'm going to stop you from coming and bombarding me with the very same thing over and 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 over again is I'm going to have to just give you what you're asking for. Let me go and take care of this for you. Morning. Let me take care of this for you. I'm going to get some people. So go with her. Take her away. So Jesus says that we have to pray and not faint. Don't give up. And some have taken that to mean that we continue to ask for the same thing over and over again. Blessings to you in Malawi, the long way. The, so and then there becomes this, there's this debate, there's this argument. Okay, so when I pray, am I supposed to just pray one time, just ask one time, I ask in faith, and then I go on about my business? Or do I continue to be like this woman and continue to pray until I get on God's nerves? Well, one, he doesn't have any nerves, and two, it's not going to bother him. um, but as long as you're talking to him, maybe not for everything, but for this thing, as long as you're talking to him and nothing's happening. You remember when the 10 lepers were crying out to Jesus, have mercy on us, son of David, have mercy on us. And Jesus said, I will. Okay, we've talked about it before, but the as long as Jesus is talking to them, as long as they're talking to Jesus, they still got leprosy and they're dying. Okay, but as long as Jesus is talking to them, are they healed in this respect? Now in John 15, Jesus says, now you are cleansed through the words that I'm speaking to you. But that wasn't the case with them, because while he was speaking to them, they still had leprosy. Nothing changed. They got the Lord's attention. And I just believe that the Lord went that way because they were there. He's coming to the place of your struggle. He's coming to the place of your heart cry. He's coming to the place of your desperation. He's coming to the place of your troubles. He he hears you before you cry. But as long as you're talking to him, you know he's got the ability to do it. He's got the strength. He's done it before for other people, and now I just want him to do it for me. Okay, but does he do it? Because as long as he's still talking, as long as they are staying in the place where they are, as long as they're standing in the place or in their mindset of leprosy, As long as they see themselves this way, if they just stood there and said, "I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to be like Yaakov or like Jacob. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to hold on to you until you bless me. I want to feel it. I want to see it. I want to know it." But as long as they were talking to Jesus and as long as Jesus was speaking to them, there was no change. Or was there and we just missed it? There's two words Jesus spoke, I will. I will is I desire or okay. Jesus, son of David, have mercy on us. I will. Go show yourselves to the priest. It's my will to grant what you desire. I came this way. I came to you because this is not the first time you prayed. This is not the first. You've been separated from everything you value, everyone you love, and everything you value. And you're in this colony of people who are troubled, people who are stinking and dying. They're literally rotting while they're living a rotting life, painful, separated. People are afraid of you because they don't want what you have. They don't want your issues. Jesus, son of David, have mercy on us. I will. Go show yourself to the priest. We jump right to go show yourself to the priest, but he said, I will. So we miss knowing what the Lord's desire is for your situation. He says, I'm perfecting those things concerning you, but you still have to walk some things out. You're going to have to walk this out. You're going to have to go through this process. You cannot pray your way out of process. You cannot even fast your way beyond beyond your wilderness. No, you can pray your way through your wilderness and you can pray your way through your process. You can pray your way through your pain. There's certain things when it's not lifted, when it doesn't happen or manifest, the instant that you make the expression, some things happen instantly. Some things happen gradually, and then there are things that don't happen at all because it was never about uh, the challenge that you needed to change. When the challenge becomes more of a lifestyle or a way of life, and you're saying you keep rebuking the challenge and you stay right there where my focus, all of my efforts are on the challenge, uh, it's maybe it's not the devil. Maybe this is something that was sent not for you to exercise your faith, to declare, to decree, to speak to cast out. Maybe it wasn't something that it wasn't sent to you for that, but rather it was sent. The challenge was sent to you not for you to change your situation, but for the situation to change you. Hmm. It was sent to change you. How is it going to change me, and how is that of God? Yeah, you got to ask Him. You look when you look at your life and you say, okay, see, certain challenges are going to put you together with other people. If you never had leprosy and you come together or you get close to a person who's a leper, and you can't get into that colony unless you are a leper. I watched this show. It was about somebody who escapes from prisons. They couldn't contain him, no matter what prison they put him in. And I can't remember the name of the shows on television. Several seasons, and I saw every episode. Um, but the man had to. He wanted to get his brother out of prison. His brother was going to do life, but every effort that he tried, it didn't work. He went through the system and everything was rejected until finally they're like, don't even come back. So he said, well, I'm the greatest escape artist, and there's been no prison that could hold me. So he began to study the prison where his brother was, got the blueprints, and he studied. If you know what's what I'm talking about, somebody go ahead and post that. But I still don't remember the name of the show, but breakout. You said Breaking Bad. Uh, yeah, yeah, Breaking as okay, Breaking Bad. All right, the man breaking his brother out of prison. Okay, okay, so Breaking Bad, and so what he does, this man has no intent of doing anything wrong, but he had to break the law in order to be thrown into the same prison of his brother as his brother. So he went in to a bank with an automatic, uh, well, an assault rifle or something, and he just fired rounds in the air. Didn't hurt anybody. Went in to say that he was going to rob the bank, and knowing that that was going to get him thrown. But anyway, he ended up in the same place. He couldn't get his brother out by other means, so he had to go to the place where his brother was in order to get his brother out of that prison, and they were able to escape. Prison Break, that's it. Prison Break. Yeah, Prison Break. And he got his brother out of prison. They broke out. They was doing some obvious things. I mean, you'd have to see it. It was pretty good. It kept you engaged, or amused, where it amused it amused your mind, your focus. Um, and this is the way that one I see that the word became flesh. This is what Jesus ultimately did for us, was that we couldn't get to him. We couldn't just walk to him and get back into fellowship with the Father. So then the word God had to come to the place where we were, where we are, where God had to become man. When God became man, he ceased to be God. So knowing that you're going to give up everything in order to be fashioned or to become just like man. And he couldn't just show up like Melchizedek. He couldn't be created or spoken into existence like Adam, but he had to become man. He had to be born of a woman, but he wasn't going to be shaped in iniquity like everybody else who came, all of the descendants of Adam. He was not a descendant of Adam, but he was the son of God. You're a descendant of your father. Adam was a descendant of his father, his creator, Abush Demayim, or the giver of life, or the birther, or the creator, as was Jesus. So the God became man. God had to come to man so man could get to God. Sometimes your circumstance is changing you, but you but you get you and you can't pray your way out of it. You pray your way through it. Jesus said, pray without fainting. Don't give up. Don't give up. But, okay, prayer has got to be more than we've reduced it to. Conversation. It's prayer has got to be more than just asking for things. I want stuff. So in Luke 18:1, it emphasizes just that prayer is not just about asking for things, but it's about developing and uh, uh, trusting and enduring in this relationship. That there's going to be relationship growth. So um, you continue to seek God, and you trust His timing and His will. Jesus said, "I will." Now go show yourselves to the priest. Even when circumstances are challenging, yeah, it doesn't negate the fact that I trust you. As Elijah said to Ahab, get yourself down to Jezreel, for I hear the sound of the abundance of rain. It ain't rained in 3 years and 6 months. And all Gehazi saw was the servant of Elijah. Uh, yeah, no, that all of Elijah's servant, all that he saw was a cloud the size of a man's hand. This vast sky, and all you see is a cloud the size of a hand, because he knew that that wasn't just any hand. That that was the same hand that had the finger that wrote in the stone for Moses. And so, based on what I see, and in this case, the prophet didn't even see it himself, his servant saw it. Based on what was said to him, he declared, I hear the sound. Isn't it something that when you're able to see what God said, then that's going to produce a sound. I heard it was spoken prophetically yesterday. Oh, by Cindy to Vernita about the sound. I don't know who this is speaking to right now, but I'm just saying I hear the sound of abundance, the abundance. Now now to the for the king, what he needed was rain to end the drought that was determined by the words spoken. The words spoken were considered to be prayer, or identified as prayer. When the prophet said to King Ahab, you will not see rain or even dew on the ground is not going to be wet except by my word, till I say so. He didn't pray about it. He didn't talk to the Lord about it. He didn't build an altar, offer a sacrifice. He just said, "Except until I say so." Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Things are going to change when the redeemed say so. When is it going to happen? When I say so. Jesus said you're going to have what you say. And so, just based on what the prophet was told by his servant, what his servant saw, when somebody said what they saw, then the man of God heard the sound of what they desired, what the king desired, what everybody desired: water, rain. So when I preface that, I said that to say this: because of what I'm about to speak to you. When I say I hear the sound of abundance, you need to get from the place where you are because I hear the sound of abundance. You've been enjoying yourself up on the mountain, but you've got to get down into the valley. Why? Because I hear the sound of abundance, and the sound of abundance. If that abundance comes where you are, you will not be able to leave this place, and you're not supposed to be on the mountain forever. You've got to get down that mountain and get back into the valley. You've got to get yourself in position to handle the abundance. And see, if you don't get in position, then your abundance is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem that you're going to start praying away and rebuking the devil when it's not the devil, it's your abundance. But it doesn't look like it because you're not in the right place. Can I say to somebody else is that one of the reasons why your abundance or the promise or you haven't given birth to what you're carrying is because you're not in the right place. As long as Mary was with Elizabeth, she couldn't give birth because the baby couldn't be born in the house of Elizabeth. That baby had to be born in the house of bread. Why? Because that baby she carried is the bread of heaven, the abiding presence, the loaves that stayed in the presence of God that had to be consumed by the priest. That show bread, bread of heaven. Where are my Baptist folks? Bread of heaven, bread of heaven. What's that next line? Feed me till I want no more. Come on now. Mm, I don't know why I was expecting everybody to start singing bread. No, but the 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 bread of heaven had to be born in the house of bread. Bayit is the second letter of the alphabet or the Hebrew alphabet. How do you know this is the right place or not the right when it's okay? The so Bayit is the second letter, Aleph Bet, uh, um, Aleph Bet Vet. So Bet Bet is house. Lachem is bread. Bet Lachem or house of bread. And because it's not happening. So the situations had to change and it affected everybody until Mary got into the house of bread. She had to get to Bethlehem because the baby couldn't be born anywhere else. So sometimes situations, it's like walking in a maze that has walls that pop up, and you're going this way, and now, oh, well, I can't go this way because now there's a wall, and I'm being forced to go in this direction. So now there's a tax that had to be, I see you, Bert. There's a tax that had to be paid, and you had to pay it at in your home wherever you're born. You got to go home to pay these taxes. So Joseph had to go home, which meant that he had to take his pregnant. We call her wife, but they wasn't married. Hello. Let me speak some hope to somebody who was born before your parents were married, or maybe your parents never married. Maybe they just did what they needed to do in order to create you and they went their separate ways. So was that the devil? No, no, you had to be created. And the Lord used these two people. They are your progenitors, your parents. Um, but make no mistake, it's him. He's the one who did this. They came together. He used their bodies to bring you here. He used the body of Mary to bring Jesus here. He could have brought the second Adam here the same way he did the first one, and just spoke him into existence. He could have brought uh, uh, Jesus here the same way that Melchizedek just showed up. with no record of his birth, no record of his death. All we see is the things that he did here on earth. He was the King of peace, the King of Shalom, of Salem. And he could have brought him here, but it had to be another way because now there's got to be some blood, some pure blood, but it's going to be connected through the mother, through Mary, not Joseph, because God is the Father. So he could have done that, but in order to do that, to show him, to show his presence throughout the generations, when the bread fell from heaven, the manna, this fresh baked bread, this manna, or some say angels' food, when it fell from heaven and fed them in the wilderness. When the bread that was prepared, those 12 loaves, and it stayed out in the presence and the table of showbread, or the table of presence in the tabernacle of Moses, in the tent of Moses, when the bread would fill the belly and provide the need, fulfill the need, eliminate the hunger, sustaining strength and ability, keep your focus and strong physically. The bread, Jesus said, "I am the bread. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word." The word became flesh, and the flesh consumes the bread, but the bread, the house of bread. So how do you know you're in the wrong place, the right place? You know, this is because of your relationship, because of your prayer. When I say prayer, I mean more than just, it's not just making a request, it's not just asking for things. But prayer, here's a form of prayer. One is worship, adoration and worship. Lord, there's absolutely none like you. Just spending time, because when when we worship, the central theme for every believer, the purpose for every believer, central, is worship, worship, worship. Spending time in in this manifest or purposeful presence, where I've taken time, not just trying to get time. Well, how often do you pray? I pray throughout the day whenever I get the time. No, make the time, schedule time to pray. And that's not to become some sort of religious ritual, but I'm saying that it's got to be so important to you that you schedule time. I get up at 5 o'clock every morning. If that's what it is, then do that. Get up at 4 o'clock every morning. If that's what it takes, then you do that. When I was determined to read the Bible through, and I challenged the people in the class that I was teaching, anthropology from a biblical perspective. That was in Hampton, Virginia, about, man, 30 something years ago, and it was also on the air, on the radio. Um, just a 30-minute class once a week, but everybody was challenged. We're going to go through the Bible, and it was about reading. So I challenged them to read 12 chapters a day. 12 chapters a day. That was the number the Holy Spirit gave me. I didn't do the math. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just said 12 chapters a day. And they said, okay. And so what I did was I sat down. I got up an hour early because I wanted to do mine in the morning. And I saw, well, first I saw how long it was going to take me to read 12 chapters. And I said, okay. It was taking me like 45 minutes. So I said, okay, well, I had to be at work at that time at 7 a.m. So I would get up about 6, get ready and get my stuff, and then get out the house. And we lived in base housing, so it didn't take me that long to get to work. And and I said, okay, well, I can get up instead of at 6. I'll get up at 5, because it took me 45 minutes to read 12 chapters. Okay, slow read or whatever, but it took me 45 minutes. So I set the time for me to get up so I can spend that time just reading. And see, the hard part was, I said, you can read, but do not study. Do not study what you're reading. You can go back later that day and and go over it again if you want to put some markings in your Bible as you're reading, or even write some notes down. But don't study, don't research, don't do anything. Just read for those 12 chapters a day. And I said, and do not miss a day, because if you miss today, you got to do 24 chapters tomorrow, or 36 chapters the day after tomorrow. It just sort of adds up. I messed around and missed 4 days while I was deployed, and I had to read 48 chapters. Yeah, yeah, I did it, but it seemed like it took forever. Um, but what ended up happening was 91 days later, we had read from Genesis to Revelation, and then we could go back and study everything that we read. But the focus had to be that. So my point is this: that I had to set the time. It didn't become a religion or religious or ritual, but I set the time, determined the time that I was going to spend there with the Lord in the Word, just reading, because that's how long it took me. Um, so eventually, you'll get to the right place, and you're going to know. How do you know that you're in the right place? Um, uh, Thank God for in the book of John, chapter 16, it says that the Holy Spirit is going to lead and guide us into all truth. Psalm says that He orders the footsteps of the righteous. Rejoice, for the steps of the righteous man are ordered of the Lord. He leads and guides. He makes sure that we are in the right place. The Lord said, "I will show you this place." And so sometimes you have this thought. Sometimes you have this thought, and you can see yourself walking. You can see yourself going. You can see yourself doing. You have this vision, but it's the finish. Yeah, it's the finish place. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's the finished place. I've seen myself preaching in other countries, but I've never seen myself standing in line or going through immigration or carrying bags or walking or running through airports or sitting on a plane in a seat for 15 hours. I've never seen that part, but in my dreams, but I always see myself there. We see ourselves there. When you can see yourself traveling, then and see, the traveling part is so important, because that's where you're going to get the manifestation of your miracle. You've got to get in position. Some of you, you know that you've been in the place too long, because now you're getting stale. It's getting stale, it's getting frustrating. So you got to move, and you're going to find that things are going to start happening. Some of you are in this place, and as I said, to begin, I said sometimes the challenges, the challenges still polished for your purpose. There are multiple layers and levels of this. It's a challenge for, it's polished for your purpose. And sometimes the challenges come because, and they don't go, even if you were to relocate, it seems like they go with you. And when they go with you, when you run away, or when you leave, or when you walk away, or when you reposition, and the challenges are still there, then you need to see, what is it about you that they have come to change? Something has got to change in you, your mindset, your attitude. It's got to change in you, until it's just, you know, God, I give this to you. I'm now focusing on something else, and I've just determined to live my life stress free. If it's stressing me out, what's that saying about my faith and my relationship? You said that you were going to perfect, or that you're perfecting those things concerning me. So these things, this is something that concerns me. This is something that's about me. This is something that I'm dealing with. Um, So I'm going to do it the easy way and say, okay, I'm giving this to you. You got this. I'm not worried about it. I can't, I can't worry about my children. Wow. Do I have, okay. So you, whoever you are, you felt, You've been feeling bad over the decisions that your grown children have made, and people have said, or they're judging you because this is a reflection of your abilities, of your parenting, because your children are all messed up, or at least one or two of them. They're messed up. And now you've joined in with the people and began to judge yourself. There's something wrong with me. God, where did I miss you? Who said it's about you? I was told the same thing. And I said, listen, I am not responsible. I'm not going to let you make me responsible for the decisions of my grown children. Well, your children are supposed to be this and that and whatever. You still looking at the process and not the finish. I'm looking at the finish, and I just pray them through. Can't pray them out of the process, but pray them through. I'm not moved by what they do. I'm not moved by that. I'm moved by what the Lord has said. And because he said it, I saw it. That's the vision that I got. I have a vision. I'm connected. He painted this mental portrait. It was based on what he said. Now I've got the vision of what he said. Okay. Pound cake, lemon pound cake. Did you get that vision? Fried chicken. Did you get that vision? How many of you can see that? Fried chicken, a fried chicken wing or a drumstick. Can you see that? You can see that. Okay. You can see that. Isn't it something that you just got the vision of a finished product, but you didn't see yourself going to the store or even killing the chicken and plucking the chicken and preparing the chicken and cleaning the chicken. You didn't see yourself getting the flour, getting the salt, some pepper, little slap your mama seasoning. You didn't see yourself putting everything together, getting the batter, the eggs, so you can wash it, you dredge it and then roll it in the flour and the seasoning. You didn't even see yourself putting the oil in the pan or the pot and turning the fire on, and now it's ready, and then going through the process. You didn't see that, but you did see the finished product. Why, man? I know we're fasting, but you got till 8 o'clock. It's gonna happen by the time we finish. You be all right. You gonna make it, Birdie. You gonna make it. The because but all of that, you saw the chicken when you heard what I said, because what I said created the vision and you connected to that, but we never see the process. It doesn't just happen like that. Well, it does if I go to the fast food restaurant. I can go to KFC and I can go and get some chicken then, but you still have to get ready and then get in your car and then drive to enjoy somebody's finished work. But it all started with what you heard. How about a new car? Okay, take the new car and not the chicken. Then just don't be too chicken to drive it. That was pretty good. Yeah. The Oh my goodness, I'm just looking at this clock live. I'm 19 minutes over for YouTube. But the word that you heard creates the vision. What you hear produces the vision. Stay connected to the vision. And I'm going to finish you with this. Uh, and this is the response. So this is for the person, for those 2, 3 people on YouTube where you've been feeling condemned or convicted, been feeling bad, guilty because of the way that your grown children are living, and their life is a direct result to their decisions. The person who was saying to me that, no, this is your job, this is a reflection on you. And I said, so this means that I'm a bad parent? He said, absolutely. And I said, you do. know that I'm not talking about me. But if the decisions that my grown children make are my responsibility and is a reflection of my parenting, then what's that say about our Father, about God, Elohim? Because his children have been making bad decisions. You have made bad decisions. So if you're what you're telling me is that I'm responsible for my grown children, then God is responsible for our actions and it's a reflection on his parenting. Oh no, I'm not saying that. No, 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 I'm not saying that. It's the same thing. I am no more responsible for the decisions that my grown children have made than God is for mine. Doesn't make him a bad parent because he did what he was supposed to do and got me to the place where I was mature enough to make a decision, understanding that there are consequences and rewards, or rewards and consequences. So if I choose to do what's right, then if I'm willing and obedient, he already told me, if I'm willing and obedient, that I'm going to eat the good of the land. But if I rebel, if I disobey, if I rebel, then I'm going to be devoured by the sword. So either you're going to devour the good stuff or you're going to be devoured, but it's going to be based on my decision. But the choice is mine. Choose you this day. It's not about him anymore. Now it's about me and my choice. But it's not a reflection on him. You know, if anything, he's given me choices. I have choices. We all want choices, and we give our children choices. Would you like milk or juice? That's a choice. You want a grilled cheese or you want a grilled peanut butter sandwich? Grilled peanut butter, what's that? Yeah, once you do it, it's gonna change your life. It's gonna change your life. Thanks, Kim. It's gonna change your life for real. I won't tell you who got me started on that. I just did, didn't I? Y'all doing all this talking. See, it was the talking that painted the picture, and I could see the finished product, and I'm like, that sounds good. But it really wasn't that it sounds good, it was that it looked good, even though all I had was the sound. But the sound created the vision, and I pursued the vision. Forget about the process, bypass that. I'm working to the end result, and I won't stop until I get it in my body. Hmm. Hello. I know what's for breakfast today. Yeah. The I gotta let you guys go. It's a little bit, but folks, know that prayer, just be consistent, be persistent. That goes into your worship and the declaring the word of God, decreeing the things that he has already said, or the decree is the right. So declaring what's been decreed, um, what he's already written, what he's written about you, or what he's written about the situation. Do that. And what this process is going to, you're going to stay in this, and you're dealing with the same weights until your muscles have been developed. Whatever it is in this area of your life has to be developed. So, whatever it is that you desire of the Lord, when I'm going to say this again, I hear the sound of abundance. So, get down. And whatever the abundance is, if it's water that you desire, if that's what you need, I hear the sound of the abundance of water. If it's finances, I hear the sound of the abundance of finances. If it's relationship, I hear the sound of the abundance, the growth and the prospering relationship. If it's houses or if it's a house, I hear the sound of abundance. So get yourself in position. How do you do that? By preparing your mindset. Let me start seeing this. Let me see, what is it going to take? What is this going to require for me to take care of this much land? Or what am I going to do with this? Have a plan before you go and harvest. Have a plan. You know, my goodness, we're harvesting peaches, but my parents had a plan. My job was just to climb the tree, me and Don, and we're dropping these peaches down. We're getting the peaches or the plums or the figs or the pears, whatever it was that we were out and we were picking. And but there was already a plan. Going to give so many to this neighbor and that neighbor. Going to make up some pies. And for the most part, Mama would get in there and start canning, doing these preserves. So we've got everything in that pantry and on the shelf. But she had a plan before we even went into the orchard. She had a plan. There was a vision. And when you say, "Oh, I'm going to make some jelly," I'm making grape jelly. I'm making apple jelly. I'm making some figs. I'm doing all this. So that when she said these things, when I even see her getting the jars, the mason jars, and getting that wax and just getting everything. So she is preparing for it. Before there is a harvest, there must be preparation. But you have to see the end result. I saw the preserves, the fruit preserves, before there was anything in the before we even went to the trees, before we even got to the place, before we even got everything has to be prepared before the manifestation. I hear the sound of your abundance. Whatever it is you're believing God for, preparation. Something I used to tell my troops, all these P's, I said 5 P's. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Preparation. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Preparation. Before, okay, this is the last thing. For those of you on YouTube, I know you got to go. I know you got to go. Um, Jesus said in Mark that we would return to the days of Noah. The Son of Man would return, but we're going to have to return to the days of Noah. He said, until this gospel, the gospel of the kingdom, has been preached to every creature, every culture, every nation, can't come back. We want the Lord to return, then we need to get busy and start preaching, declaring. He's coming, but to take us out of here, he's going to call us and we'll meet him up in the air. Can I say that it took 120 years for Noah to complete his assignment? If it took 100 years, or if it took 20 years, the rains would have come when Noah finished his assignment. But it took him 120 years to complete his assignment. So the rains came only after he completed it. Your harvest will be ready when you complete your preparation. His fruit is not going to, what he promised you will not fall to the ground and rot. It's not going to fall into the hands of somebody else. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you to prepare yourself to receive it, because this was a promise to your fathers. Prepare yourself. I got to stop talking, y'all. I've said that 3 times now, so now it's real. We're going to finish this conversation. I got more to say, but I'm going to say it there on Clubhouse. And then there are other people who want to say something they want to add. It doesn't seem like we've been talking for as long as we have, but um, join us over on Clubhouse. Today is Friday. We'll be back on Monday morning. This is day number 236 of Amen. This is day number 236 of Divine Perfection. He's been working on me for 236 days. This is the year of divine perfection. God said, I'm perfecting those things concerning you. Don't worry about that. I got it. I got that too. I just want you to continue. See, this process is my preparation. This is his plan. I know the plan or the process that I have for you, but it's the end result The end result is when the manifestation comes. It's not when I die. I don't just process and then die. You're going to be able to enjoy the benefits of your process. I'm going to see you all on Monday morning. If you're in Sacramento, or if you can get to Sacramento, come to 7000 Franklin Boulevard, Suite 560, this Sunday morning at 9. There is a word for you there. I guarantee you that you won't leave the same. I guarantee you that your life is going to be transformed. I guarantee you that you're going to walk into a place, into a space where the folks you see is going to be like you've seen God. Blessings to you. We'll see you Sunday morning. We'll see you on Monday morning, right back here. Bring somebody with you. Remember to like and to share. All right. See you over on Clubhouse. Come on over and join us in that conversation. God bless you.